Hello, I'm Neil Whelan and welcome to the Wesleyan podcast. In this episode, brought to you by Wesleyan Financial Services, Specialist Financial Adviser Richard Ollive looks at how we work hand in hand with our colleagues over at Practice Plan with one of their regional support managers, Donna. They discuss how they support dental practice owners, associates and their teams with a wide range of financial needs, from NHS pensions and personal and commercial protection to ensuring steady income and promoting financial well-being. As a reminder, this podcast is for information only and doesn't constitute financial advice. But if you do need to talk to someone about your finances, I'll be back later to tell you how to get in touch with us. But for now, I'll hand you over to Richard. And first up, Donna.
Today we're going to be talking through how both parts of our business can help owners, associates and staff within dental practices. So Richard, firstly, let's think about how we can help owners. So from your viewpoint, what can you do to help an owner of a dental practice?
Okay, thanks, Donna. So my role or our role is to provide specialist financial advice. So in terms of principals, practice owners, clearly practices have different ownership structures. So you've got from a sole trader through to a partnership, through to a limited company. I've missed out limited liability partnership as well, to be specific.
Yeah.
And we can help all of those different ownership structures in terms of understanding financial needs. So as a sole trader, it's really personal financial planning.
Yeah.
Partnership, we'll be looking at making sure there's a partnership agreement in place, and we have a network of dental specialist solicitors that we work with who can help with that where they need it, because it is surprising how many partnerships don't have a proper agreement.
Yeah.
But outside of it is more looking at the risks to the business. So what if a partner dies? What if a partner is seriously ill? How do the surviving partners manage to carry on and potentially pay them out?
Yeah.
The same applies for a limited liability partnership and a limited company. It's just a slightly different way of structuring things.
Yeah, fantastic. You'd be amazed how many practices have not reviewed their partnership agreements in many years.
Yes.
They don't really know what's covered and
Absolutely.
they don't think about what might happen. So it's a great service we offer.
Yeah.
So to Richard, more from a financial, personal financial point of view for an owner, I know, you guys do lots of regular business reviews and financial reviews with your clients.
Yeah.
What sort of things are you looking at when you're doing that with them?
Okay, so it's all about their kind of financial plan. Where are they now? Where are they trying to get to? So probably the first area we'll be looking at a lot with dentists is pensions, because most dentists will have a mixture of NHS and possibly private work. Very few really understand the NHS pension.
Yeah.
That's where we come in, and that's our specialism. So we really understand the NHS pension. We've got a number of tools we can use to support them in terms of looking at options for retirement, what they're on track to provide. So that's probably what sets us apart from the rest of the industry. But then as they're doing more and more private work, it's important to do additional pension funding as well. So that's probably the key bit. And ultimately, it's working towards their exit strategy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's also important to look at everything in their plan along the way. So things like shorter term savings goals, but probably one of the more important ones as well is protecting their risks. So as I describe it, the what if you die, what if you're sick scenario, and what impact can that have on the practice as well as their own future plans. So within that, we would be looking at things like life insurance, sickness cover through income protection, and also potentially locum cover, which is something that's really, really important, and a lot of dentists don't really think about the consequences of.
No, they definitely don't. That's great. And, from our point of view, Richard, the way we can help, owners in a practice, if you're a brand new owner buying a practice, you're going to likely be buying a private practice, not necessarily an NHS practice. And even if you've got an NHS contract, it's usually the private side of the business they're looking to grow. So, we really want to work work with you very early on, almost so that we're ready to launch that membership to your patients from as soon as the doors open to the building.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're buying an existing practice that's already got a patient base and you're just looking at, you know, how can I secure some income? How can I make sure that I know month in, month out what's going to be in the bank account? A dental membership is the best way to do that, because it helps you budget for the future. It helps you from the financial side of it, looking at, you know, how I'm going to pay all the overheads, what's coming in, what's coming out. But also it bonds the patients to the practice, so you're getting that loyalty from your patients as well. So it's a win-win, you know, for both your finances and your patients.
Absolutely, and this is where we work so well together that you know, you will have a lot of practices that are looking to convert, and we work together at a fairly early stage on that, because when you're running through looking at figures in terms of what each associate needs to generate patient-wise and income-wise, it's really important they're factoring in replacing any benefits that they're going to lose by giving up an NHS contract, such as their pension, such as their sickness cover. So this is where the Wesleyan Practice Plan partnership really comes into its own and works so well together.
Yeah, we can only look at one side. We can look at how many patients do you need to make a conversion successful? What does it look like from replacing that NHS income for you? What we can't tell you from Practice Plan's side is actually what's that going to do to your exit plan, to your pension part. So that's why, you know, I like to bring you really early, Richard, into that conversation. Because for me personally, I don't think you can make a decision to go through a conversion until you've looked at both sides of the picture.
Totally agree.
It's not, you know, it would be right and ethical for us to let you do a conversion and not consider what happens to your pension pot at the end of it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So thinking about associates, Richard, so this is an area where for us at Practice Plan, we generally deal with associates as you're part of a practice team and they're, you know, regularly involved in kind of the training and ongoing support we do. But from us working with associates, usually it comes from when they want to branch out and buy their own practice. I know you know, Wesleyan, you work with those associates much earlier in their journey. So tell me a little bit about
absolutely. So as I've already said, when we're talking about practice owners' principles, the kind of overview is looking at a financial plan. Where are you now? Where are you trying to get to? And that applies to every single client we're talking to at whatever level they are, whether it be a dental nurse, a hygienist, an associate, a principal. The journey might be a little bit different. So if we're dealing with an associate early on, and one of their goals is to try and buy a practice one day, then we will help them in terms of that plan, in terms of building capital so that they've got a deposit to be able to do it. But what we also do at Wesleyan, we are building a network of third parties who can work with us and with our clients to help on that journey. So we work with a number of dental specialists, accountants, solicitors, and commercial lenders. So we can really help facilitate that entire journey. And what I'm doing at the moment, so we've recently partnered with Christie & Co. And who are superb in that marketplace. So we will help facilitate that introduction with the associate and Christie's to help at an early stage to start that conversation as to when they'll be able to purchase and how it will all work. Can they borrow the money? That entire journey. We've also got within Wesleyan a general insurance team who can help with everybody's insurance needs, whether that be their indemnity insurance through to their home, their car insurances, but then in terms of the practice, all of their business insurances that they need. So we really are kind of a one-stop point of contact for everything they're likely to need in that entire journey. And obviously with yourselves as well, that's a big part of it.
Of course it is. And that reference into car and home insurance, Richard, I think is really key, because something I try and make sure my clients are aware of. Have you told your staff that you know is there available for them to access? Because, you know, when we think about staff retention, it's a difficult market at the moment. And
it is.
You know, if you can get your team buying into extra services and support from us, from both sides of the business, you know, it can really help keep your team sticky to you and keep them.
Absolutely. It's all about going that extra, providing that extra little piece of the jigsaw, which makes you come across as a caring employer but in a way that isn't a burden to you as an employer.
Yeah.
So things like the services that we can both offer really help add value to your proposition to your staff. So from my point of view, it's about their financial well-being. From your point of view, it's all about looking after their patients, making life easier for them, and understanding there's still a bit of financial well-being there in terms of the plan, making sure they've got the right income at the right time.
Yeah, and it's also looking after your team moving forward as well, Richard, because we like to be an extension of your team almost. That's how practice plans see ourselves with our clients. So, for us, once we've got you through that initial journey, and if you're doing a conversion, or even if you just want to simply offer a plan alongside what you do, it doesn't stop at that point with us. We will be there to handhold you and your teams through your whole journey.
Absolutely. I've seen that with you firsthand and how well that works. And I do a similar thing, both at practice level and obviously more often at an individual level, because once we've started that plan with a client, at whatever stage they are in their career, it's really important to review that regularly. But one of the other things that we do similar to yourselves, is what we kind of badge up as a lunch and learn.
Yeah.
So again, adding to that kind of financial well-being, we will come along and have a chat with the team as a whole. So everybody that's there, the associates, down to your nurses, your receptionists, everybody in the practice, they've all got financial needs. And it's very much about education, helping them to understand what those needs are, and their risks, and where to get that help, even down to arranging their mortgage for them. So one of the things I've not mentioned is the fact we're mortgage brokers. So we really can offer that full service to everybody.
Fantastic.
And keep it reviewed.
Thanks, Richard. I think it's been a really good overview of what both, Wesleyan Financial Services and Practice Plan can do to really help any practice out there that might be needing that support.
And that's our show for this week. Thank you to Donna and Richard. If you are looking for expert financial advice, go to wesleyan.co.uk, where you can book an appointment with one of our specialist financial advisors. Charges may apply, but we won't charge you until you've agreed the services you require and the associated costs. Find out more at wesleyan.co.uk/charges. More information about the services provided by Practice Plan can be found over at practiceplan.co.uk. To learn about Wesleyan more generally, you can find us on the website formerly known as Twitter, as well as over on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. And if you found this podcast useful, you can like and subscribe to us on all the usual platforms, as well as find us on YouTube, where there's a whole library of videos covering a wide range of financial planning topics. But that's it for now. So until next time, thanks for listening.